You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
Oh yeah, baby, that's lovely.
We now wander off the beaten path with an update from the Reefer Reporter.
Hello and welcome to the Reefer Reporters. It's March the 31st, 2022, and we are live here at the Pace Radio Show's Pace Radio Network's Facebook and YouTube pages. Good day, Glenn. How are you doing?
Good morning, Al. I'm great. How are you?
No, not too bad. A little tired. Had a bit of a late night last night and got a busy day today.
Not me.
Yourself?
No busy night last night. Just at home, but I'm working on my house and busy doing that.
Good. Got any tropical storms going on down there today?
It's not very nice out there today. It's a little bit of rain and a little bit of snow. It's one of those days you don't know what you're gonna get.
Oh yeah.
Right around zero.
We got rain today, but it's supposed to get really warm.
It's going to 11 tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, I bet you are. All right. Well, we're done with the weather report. Why don't we move on to the news? All right. First up, we've got some Alberta cannabis retailers ready for online sales and delivery, and others are holding off. What's going on there, Glenn?
Well, there's some retailers that are ready to begin cannabis deliveries on March 8th or soon after that time, as the province shuts down its own website and allows private retailers to take over.
Yes, yeah. Well, March 8th is obviously passed because we're at the end of the month, so hopefully they got things going along better, but we'll see what happened back then. The process, they say the process isn't easy, though, especially when it comes to adhering to Alberta's strict age gate rules. And some of the industry worry this will make it harder for some independent stores to compete.
And although some retailers in Alberta are holding off and taking part, several StratCan spoke with, they said they already had their inspection from AGLC and are ready to begin sales on March 8th or soon after that time. Well,
Scott. Yeah, exactly. Scott Morrow of 420 Premium Market says that they are ready to begin deliveries right away, and 420 had their AGLC inspection to ensure the website was secure and compliant, so it's up and running.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for us, Morrow said, and they're looking to be the first mover. The process of getting to this point, he explains, wasn't easy. The AGLC has very strict requirements around online age gating, whereas many provinces only require a basic soft age gate where a user can self-verify that they are the legal age to access. Alberta requires any retailer selling or even advertising cannabis and listing prices to truly verify the consumer's age and identity.
Is this soft age gate, would that be something along the line of what is out there right now where a 7-year-old could say that they're 20?
It sounds to me like that's what a soft age gate is. You can just self-verify I'm this old and that's it. They take your word for it.
Yeah. Which I just find totally useless.
Yep. Definitely is useless.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't have one on my website. So
yeah.
They say although online sales through the AGLC websites were a small portion of the overall sales in the province, Moreau says he expects that the ones for his business, 420s, will be higher in the 5 to 7% range because they will be offering delivery rather than mail order options. And obviously delivery gets it to people much quicker than sending it through the mail, which can take anywhere from 3 to 5 days, right?
And over the last couple of years, everybody that I know has got used to home delivery for almost everything, your everyday goods now.
Yeah. More people are doing it, that's for sure.
Yeah, Alberta will allow retailers to have the option to deliver products directly to consumers using their own employees, but no third-party delivery services. I find that very strange to me. Why couldn't they use a third-party delivery service?
That I'm not sure exactly.
You can go to the beer store for you. You can get beer.
Well,
they can go to this restaurant or the grocery store and get you things from there. But this sounds weird to me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, baby steps, maybe
Yeah.
that's something they can entice you to say, hey, this is a good thing. We're switching to this. Then
Yeah.
do that down the road.
But I mean, delivery's delivery. Whether it's like the person who gets the delivery, I don't think they really care whether the delivery service was an employee of the customer or it was a third party. It gets to your door one way or the other. So I don't see the reason for cutting off a business.
Maybe the store employee would have to go through a can sell course
Okay,
beforehand.
yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense then.
Yeah, maybe that's why. All righty, continue.
Okay. Even if third-party delivery options are available, Morrow says he would prefer to see his own employees doing the delivery, especially to ensure better customer service.
Yeah, he says that if we do settle into the 5 to 7% range, that's manageable to do internally. And the trade-off of going third party is you lose the personal touch. Having your staff members interacting with the consumer at their doorstep, to me, is better sales process than with a third party where you don't have control over the customer experience.
It does sound reasonable to me, I guess. Deliveries from 420 will be free for orders under $50, with a target of getting it to the customer's door in 90 minutes or less. Ryan Roach, who owns and operates Lake City Cannabis with 2 cannabis retail stores, one in Calgary and one in Chestermere, agrees that with Morrow in regard to using third-party delivery services.
Yeah, Roach says that third parties are not good for small businesses. They take a big chunk of change and they're really not good for consumers. I also have significant doubts on their ability to make sure that underage people are not receiving products or that products are getting to the right places.
I would think that before they ship those products, that they would have already insured, at least under what we read already. They have to ensure that these people are already of age.
Well, see, a person can say whatever they want over the phone, right?
Yeah. Well, yes, it's true.
And
I would
so on the other
assume.
end, that's when they have to be checking for the ID.
Yeah, I would assume you have to have some pre-clearance or something, to even ship it out. It sounds strange to me to ship it to someone and then at the door the guy says, I have ID, but he doesn't.
Well, they must have. Yeah, there is a way of doing that. From what I've read in other stories, it's done electronically, something to do with providing a driver's license.
Yeah, that makes sense. We'll see how it goes. We're cautiously optimistic. We think we can now provide the Lake City experience that so many love to a wider base of people and make it even better for them. So we're really excited about what we can provide them.
Good. Let's see who else is on here. Will Forsh, the owner of the Peak Cannabis in Calgary, says they also just completed an AGLC inspection at their website and also hope you're ready once things got going. He says the process was not easy, especially for a small independent retailer, but he like Roach, is cautiously optimistic.
I get weekly calls about delivery, so there's definitely demand for it, he says. Whether the demand is going to be worth what we invest in it is to be determined. I don't think it's a golden ticket, but it definitely gives us one more component to compete with the illicit market. If done right, it adds another level of convenience to the consumer. It does.
But not everybody was happy with the program, especially those given the added costs and the logistics of managing the strict age gate process. Danielle French, the owner of Enlightened Herb Cannabis in Black Diamond, about an hour outside of Calgary, says she is waiting to see if it makes sense for her business. She believes her customers are more interested in the in-person experience, especially in a small town with only about 3,000 residents. That'd be like Campbellford.
Yeah. I think the in-person experience is great, but some people don't have time for that or just can't do it.
I agree. Yeah.
So the delivery works out great. They're still trying to figure it out to make sure it makes sense to them. Everyone in our town is a few blocks away. I don't see why they wouldn't just come into our store. We prefer that. But medical people, sometimes you need delivery.
Yeah, there you go. There's the building, eh? Look at that. Looks like an old church or old schoolhouse.
I like it. It's really cool looking.
Yeah, that's different,
eh?
Yeah. So yeah, there we go. There's a bunch more there. The article goes on. But hopefully those people got all set up and going on things when the date got started, and who knows what's going on now.
We'll find out shortly.
Oh, I'm sure at some point we will. There'll be a story on it that we will cover. That's for sure. All right, now we're going to move on to Ontario, and that's because here in Ontario, the AGCO has reversed its course and will allow retailers LPs to white label products, according to StratCan.
The Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario has announced that they will allow cannabis retailers in the province to enter into agreements with cannabis producers for store brand or white label cannabis products.
Yep, this is an announcement change, of course, an amendment to regulatory changes announced in February that will be coming in effect on June the 30th. When first announced to the industry in February, the AGCO's rule changes were seeking to prohibit cannabis retailers from asking for or accepting benefits or payments to promote any specific products.
And the new rules also specifically disallowed producers and retailers from creating a set amount of product a retailer must stock, or defines shelf space or product or brand marketing. It's often referred to as white labeling. This approach has been encouraged by the OCS and caught the industry by surprise when the AGCO announced it would no longer be allowed. Ontario's product flow-through program has been reportedly built with the idea of these kinds of white label products.
Yeah, and today's newest update from the AGCO clarifies it will now still allow such white label partnerships. The agency will be providing more details on this change in the coming days, they say. Now, I believe Kelly and I covered the story on Monday, and like she was saying, like, and I was agreeing that it doesn't make sense. Like, why not allow that? Like, it's done in all kinds of industries.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I mean,
there's a whole chain, no frills,
yeah,
no name, no name products, right?
But they don't allow with alcohol, as far as I know. Is there no name alcohol?
I don't know. I haven't been into an alcohol store in 20 years.
Yeah, I haven't been in one in quite a while.
I haven't got a clue. Yeah. No. All righty, on to our next story. And this headline says that CanadaBis reports a $274 million profit after releasing new products.
And Cannabis Capital says sales spiked after releasing its new Stigma Grow resin-infused pre-rolls and moon rocks into the Canadian market.
Moon rocks.
Yeah,
on Tuesday. Yeah, the Calgary-based company released its second quarter financial result for the 3 months ended January the 31st, with net sales up 47% to $2.8 million.
That's great. That's a nice profit. The firm reported record net income around $274,000, tripling from negative $271 seen last quarter. Yeah. In a statement Wednesday, the company said that its adjusted earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization were a record $572,000 due to the launch of its female-focused High Priestess brand and Dab Bod's increase in brand awareness.
Yeah, you can see there in the tweet, the High Priestess thing there. As they say, its new products under the Stigma Grow brand came in a pack of 3.5 gram joints, or 3 half-gram joints, infused with resin and 2 grams of moon rock.
And during the second quarter, the company reported a gross profit of $1.5 million, rising 61% from $932,000. Cash on hand at the end of the quarter was up 16% to around $23,000 from $20,000 last quarter, and cost of sales was $1.3 million.
Well, there you go. You want to buy stocks, 50 cents a stock.
25% jump since Wednesday.
That's a 25% jump. Yeah, wow. So it must have been more. Yeah, it must have been worth 40 cents before that.
Yeah.
Yeah. During the quarter, CanadaBis says it's reformulated its concentrate lines to meet the demands of clients related to terpenes and renegotiated with cultivars to reduce the cost. The company currently owns Stigma Pharmaceuticals, Stigma Grow, and Indicative Collective, and Goldstream Canada.
And while we continue to focus on profitability, we are delighted to be able to post yet another record quarter of revenue. Our product launch momentum also continues to accelerate with 13 new products launched this quarter. Travis McIntyre, who's the CEO, said.
So there you go.
I
Companies
think
making
it's
some money.
great, and I find it fascinating that they're attributing this to mostly women. So they're catching the female cannabis market, obviously by storm.
Yeah. And there is a big market there. There's no doubt about that.
I didn't realize that there was two separate markets. I didn't know that you could market towards women in cannabis. I just thought it was one market.
Oh, yeah.
I find it very interesting.
Yeah, we had a guest on the Pace Radio show from Mainock, town next to us, who has a business, 4th and 20. And her products, her bongs and things like that are feminine based as far as the way the decor are and things like that.
Wow. I didn't realize it was that big of a segment, but that's great.
Yep, exactly. Yes, it is. All right, on to our next story. I think you might like, and that is the fact because Las Vegas Strip is adding a cannabis-friendly hotel, according to the street.
That's awesome. A company that operates a cannabis positive hotel in Phoenix has bought a property just off the Strip. Las Vegas, really the whole state of Nevada, has been an odd place for cannabis operators. The state has legalized recreational cannabis, but it has never legalized consumption lounges.
That's not a problem for locals who consume their cannabis at home, but it is a difficult situation for many guests staying at hotels. They can buy all sorts of cannabis products, everything from edibles to vapes and traditional smokable versions of cannabis. But if they opt for smokable variety, there's no actual legal place to smoke it. That's right, Glenn. You can't. You gotta own
It's
home.
very strange. Very strange situation. You go to the hotel and you can't consume it there. You have to go home and consume your cannabis and then go back to your hotel.
Well, you don't have. Well, see, that's a hotel you're visiting, right? So read on.
Or you have to go outside on the Strip and walk around and smoke it. So it's
and that's not allowed. That's
No.
not allowed. That's against the law because you're in public. You're not allowed to consume cannabis publicly. So if you have a house, your own house, but let's say you go to Las Vegas from where you are on the East Coast, you don't have a home to go back to smoke.
Yeah.
Right. So what do you do? So let's hope this story has an answer to that.
As you might imagine, this has led a lot of the Las Vegas Strip to smell like a Grateful Dead concert. The problem is that casino operators MGM Resorts International, Caesars Entertainment, and Wynn, which together control an awful lot of the Strip, don't want customers leaving their properties. Makes sense. They want to stay there, spend more money.
Exactly. If, for example, Planet 13, the huge Las Vegas dispensary, added a consumption lounge, then its visitors might spend significantly more time at the dispensary. That's time they're not on the casino floor, eating in casino restaurants, or otherwise spending money with Caesars, MGM, Wynn, or any other big operator, just as you said, Glenn.
Yeah, that's something they expect to change as soon as new legislation has been passed giving recreational cannabis business owners the ability to apply for licenses to open on-site consumption lounges.
Yeah, now Planet 13 Cannabis Dispensary already plans to open a consumption lounge as a dispensary on Desert Road, west Las Vegas Strip, according to the MJ Bisley Daily Report.
And the dispensary plans to build a 20,000 square foot lounge. That's a good size with a 4-inch deep indoor splash pool and 5,000 square foot outdoor balcony. A skywalk connects the consumption lounge to the dispensary.
Okay, and we've reported in the past about this lounge, but now this is different. A hotel operator, which owns a cannabis-friendly hotel in Phoenix, has purchased a boutique hotel just off the Las Vegas Strip.
Pro Hospitality Group owner Alex Risk has purchased a 64-room artisan hotel, Sahara Avenue and Interstate, for Interstate 15 for $11.9 million. Rick's company owns the Clarendon Hotel in Phoenix, which describes as cannabis friendly.
Yeah, their website says that our rooms and property are going cannabis friendly. Coming offerings include a cannabis shuttle and a membership lounge. Rex told the newspaper that he plans to spend $3 million to renovate the property, which he expects to make cannabis friendly, pending legislation that would allow that to happen.
Our 4 cannabis-friendly rooms, we allowed vaping, dabbing, flower, etc. We do not allow tobacco products to be smoked in the room due to the lasting smell and residue, Clarendon shared on its website. Since we are currently a split-use hotel with cannabis and non-smoking rooms, we do ask that any smoking take place in our cannabis-friendly room and not in the public areas of the hotel. Vapes and smokeless products can be used in outdoor areas, not including the restaurant.
So there you go. You want to go to Las Vegas? You get to stay at. You can probably stay at a hotel that is cannabis friendly.
Well, I can't wait till every hotel is cannabis friendly.
Yes, I agree. I agree on that. There's no.
At least give us some place to go.
Yes.
Even if it's to sit outside in a covered area, I don't mind. I would go there.
Good. Or maybe allow, like here in Ontario and other places in Canada, allow lounges so people could go to them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. All right, last story before we go to break. And this one says that Louisiana proposals opens the door to prison time for youths caught with less than 14 grams of cannabis.
A Republican state representative in Louisiana has proposed that people under the age of 18 who are caught with small amounts of cannabis should be treated more harshly than their adult counterparts. Makes sense to me, right? That's great. 18-year-olds are going to be more responsible than their adult counterparts. I don't know, but when I was 18, I was not more responsible than I am.
And did you notice how it says be treated more harshly than adults?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
They want to throw kids in jail.
Yeah.
For cannabis, but yet they're not going to throw adults in jail for cannabis.
It makes no sense to me at all.
Makes no sense.
No.
Exactly. Table earlier this month, House Bill 700 follows the green light given to a sweeping decriminalization effort last year. That bill reduced the penalty for possessing up to 14 grams of cannabis to a fine of $125.
I don't even agree with the fine.
Neither do I.
Never mind what they're proposing. It's ludicrous to my mind.
Yeah.
At the Time Marijuana Policy Project, an organization dedicated to legalizing cannabis in the U.S., noted this law will save thousands of Louisianans from being incarcerated for small amounts of cannabis.
Yeah, which is a good thing, right?
Yeah, unless the Republicans get their way, and then it's a bad thing.
Yeah, but as per HB 700, Rep. Larry Bagley submits that individuals under 18 should be treated differently, perhaps at odds with other laws. That treatment should be harsher than it would be for adults.
And I do have one question. Is that even legal to treat one age group different by law than another age group?
Well, if the law passes, it's, all the things, it meets the constitutionality until someone challenges that law.
I think there's going to be people challenging that because legally it's like prejudice in an age group.
Well, you got to think here in Canada, kids younger age don't get jail time for possession.
Yeah.
Right. People under 12 sometimes don't get charged with criminal crimes.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense that way. But we're talking people under 18. They're going to treat them worse instead of better or counseling.
Exactly. Like as I said to you when we were getting ready for the show, this article is one of those WTFs.
Yeah, it is.
All right, continue on.
Okay, specifically, the draft charge change noticed that a person under 18 convicted of a first offense for possessing 14 grams or less of cannabis shall be placed on probation or any other dispositional alternative or imprisoned for not more than 15 days.
Yeah.
15 days for 14 grams.
They want to throw a kid in jail for 15 days, but give an adult a $125 fine.
Yeah.
Figure that out, eh?
We're living in a backwards, upside down world right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, big time, big time. Having more than 14 grams upon first conviction will elicit the same options, but ratchet up potential imprisonment to 6 months or less.
A second conviction would carry a maximum of 6 months in prison. A third conviction would be met with a top sentence, not more than 2 years, with or without hard labor. And a fourth conviction could lead to prison time, again, with or without hard labor, up to 4 years.
So, okay, now let's get this right. Hard labor for a 16-year-old in prison for 4 years if they get caught for 16 grams of cannabis.
They're just saying under 18, so this could be a 12-year-old.
Correct. Exactly. If the proposed law receives the green light, the recommended changes would not apply to people under 18 who are patients of the state-sponsored medical cannabis program and who possess a card, for permission, which includes vaping, so on and so forth. So if you're under 18, you can get away with it if you've got a medical reason. But
which means
if you're under 18 for a recreational user, you could get 4 years of hard labor.
There's going to be a run on those cards. They're going to be worth a lot of money.
Well, I guess there will be.
Louisiana Progress, a group that reports it is dedicated to finding solutions to problems faced in the state, was clear regarding its view of the change. Very, 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 very bad idea. For individuals over 18, repeated infractions of 14 grams or less cannabis would not spark any prison time, according to the Louisiana Illuminator.
There you go. No prison time for that adult. But that 12-year-old is going to get hard time for 4 years in prison.
They're going to learn him really good. He's going to come out a much better person, I'm sure.
I'm sure he will be, yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, my God. The main thrust seems to be that the possibility of incarceration will set youth on the right path away from the offenses and towards rehabilitation programs. Really? 4 years hard labor is going to...
How's that work for them so far in the last 200 years?
Oh, my God.
According to High Times, Republican State Representative Nicholas Musarello may support relaxing cannabis rules somewhat, but still voted for the amendment. We are trying to rehabilitate children. This allows our courts to kind of keep them in check and put them in drug courts. The publication cites Musarello as saying, no judge is putting a kid in jail for 6 months for marijuana, but that's what it says.
That's exactly what it says.
It will happen. It will happen. If it's in the law, it will happen.
Yeah. A judge would turn around and say, well, that's what the law states I have to do. And
yeah, or it's your second conviction and you didn't learn from your first one, so you're going to jail. It will happen.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. It's got my blood boiling, this story.
Yeah. Beyond penalties relating to possessing 14 grams of less of cannabis, having between 14 grams and 1 kilo is still a misdemeanor charge punishable for 6 months by a fine. So, for adults are obviously getting off a lot easier here.
I don't understand. It's a misdemeanor charge, but it's punishable by 6 months incarceration.
Yeah.
Shouldn't a misdemeanor charge be like don't do it again, pay a little fine?
Yeah, I would think so. That was the last I understood what misdemeanors meant, but obviously they have another opinion on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Don't go to Louisiana.
The further down south you get, the worse it gets for things like this.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I gotta go to break, man.
Okay.
I gotta go to break. Glenn and I'll be right back in about 4 minutes. You're listening to the Reefer Reporters live here on Pace Radio Network's YouTube and Facebook pages, plus podcasted at paceradio.net or at reeferreporters.com. We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Who has huge buds? You do. If you shop at BMA Hydroponics, attend one of BMA's educational seminars and learn the secrets of growing, harvesting, processing, and consuming quality cannabis and cannabis products. Learn how to make better extracts, edibles, and medicinal creams at prices you can afford. Visit BMA Hydroponics at 404 Maitland Drive, Belleville, or call 613-967-9888.
The only way to go.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most, but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888, and grow on with CP.
Catch the Reefer Reporters Mondays and Thursday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, live here on the Pace Radio Network.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net. Hey, you're watching and listening to the Reefer Reporters, and we're back from a medication break. Have you gotten over that yet?
No, I won't stop thinking about that story for the next couple of days now.
No, I know. I wouldn't want to live in Louisiana. That's all I can say.
I'm sure there's good things down there. Mardi Gras there and things like that, but that was ludicrous what we just read.
That was ludicrous. How can anybody vote for that? No, we're just trying to save the children.
Yeah.
Yeah, hard labor. That's saving children, I'll tell you. All right, on to our next story. We're heading over across the pond because over there, the Dutch recreational cannabis production pilot besets by delays.
A pilot program to allow the limited cultivation and distribution of recreational cannabis in the Netherlands has been hit with another major delay. The program, which is supposed to involve 10 cannabis cultivators supplying dozens of stores, was originally intended to launch in 2020.
Here we are 2 years later. But the plan was delayed to 2022, and the latest delay has the program expecting to kick off in the second quarter of 2023, according to the letter to Parliament about the experiment. So another delay.
The stores, known as coffee shops, currently operate in a system where sales are legally tolerated, but marijuana cultivation has been prohibited. Unfortunately, it has now become apparent that starting in 2022 is no longer realistic, the letter notes. Wow.
Yeah, they say that the selection process, the procedure of the remaining growers is taking longer than expected, and some growers are having trouble securing a location. So you're going to delay the program because some people are having some problems?
Yeah, couldn't they start with what they have?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
The Netherlands has been laying the groundwork for the pilot program for almost 4 years.
4
so
years.
far, they've had coffee shops ever since I can remember. They've been working on this for 4 years and they can't get it.
Yeah.
So far, the Dutch government has selected only 8 of the 10 growers, or according to the letter, in 4 years.
Like we just said, why don't they get started with what they got? We got 8. Like, Christ, couldn't they? Isn't that enough to get started?
4 years to select 8 growers.
Yeah, that's just an excuse to keep it delayed.
It is.
Come on, come on. Let's see. They expected the 9th and 10th growers will be designated soon. They say the delay is bad news for a number of Canadian companies that have stakes in Dutch producers. Oh.
Late last year, Edmonton, Alberta-based Aurora Cannabis invested in upstart Netherlands-based Growery BV. One of the winners, the lottery winners there, selected to cultivate and distribute adult use or cannabis under the yet-to-be-launched government-backed pilot program.
An earlier competitor, Village Farms International, almost paid 4 million euros for an option to purchase 80% stake in the Netherlands-based Lely Holland, another of the 10 winners.
Wow. A number of growers indicate they have had problems obtaining a bank account, according to the ministerial letter. It seems to be a problem all over the place with banks.
It seems to be worldwide, doesn't it?
Yeah, they don't want to be involved with it, but as soon as they realize there's actually money, they'll be scrambling for it.
Yeah, or if it's connected in any way to the U.S. federal banking system, that's another problem. So.
And I'm sure that will change. It's supposed to have changed by now, but hopefully it's coming.
Yeah, they say that the banks involved and the growers themselves are looking for solutions, and they said they will provide an update later this summer because a lot of people are having that problem. Growers and the whole bit, and it's they've got to come up with a solution. Yeah,
the letter cites as an example. Bank's obligation under a Dutch money laundering and terrorist financing law. A track and trace program is also under development. The experiment is supposed to run for 4 years.
It's supposed to run for 4 years. Yeah, other European markets have experienced major delays and in some cases revisions to the cannabis regulations. Last year, Luxembourg's backpedaled on the plan to establish Europe's first legal cannabis market.
After benchmarking the Canadian model for use in Luxembourg, the government instead announced plans to allow more or home cultivation of up to 4 plants for personal use with no option for retail sales.
So grow your own and there's no big companies producing it.
But it doesn't make sense to me that way because the Canadian model seems to be working. It's not perfect by a long shot, but it seems to be working.
Yeah, some people I know out there would say, "Yay!" because of the fact that people can grow and the companies can't. But yeah.
Well, they can only grow 4 plants.
Not everybody can grow.
And I don't know, 4 plants will not last you for a year.
Yeah, like especially if you're restricted to growing 4 small plants because where you have isn't large.
Yeah, or you have to grow outdoors and your climate is not ideal, anything like that.
Stores, there is a benefit to the stores. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Made in Denmark, medical cannabis was established. Was available in Germany, but it was made for sale to Dutch patients. The Dutch letter they say about all this story is available at their website.
Yep.
All right. So there you go. The end of that story. The other one beats the dust. All right. That's just. I'm still going on with Louisiana. Like you said, you're gonna be thinking about that one for a while now.
Yeah, because the people that are going to be affected by this are not the rich people. They're the poor people. They're the colored people. They're the Indian people.
And they're not even adults.
Yeah, and they're not adults. And it makes it worse all around.
You're sending a 12-year-old or 14-year-old or whatever, parents, like when they send away dad or mom in jail, it breaks up families. Now they're taking the kids away.
Yeah, they took kids away a couple of years ago too. It worked out really well for them.
Oh yeah. Alrighty, on to our next story. The last one was on the delay in Denmark. It's not the only place because we've got one here as well. Cannabis legislation fails to pass state again, but no more delays are allowed. And this, I believe, is in Bahamas.
The Senate heard that smoking cannabis should not be seen as normal as the upper house split down the middle on a vote yesterday on whether to legalize cannabis. The vote on the second reading of the Cannabis Licensing Act 2022 was tied, but under parliamentary rules, it is classed a loss.
But the Senate, which blocked the legislation for a year after a vote in 2021, cannot delay it any longer. John Wright, an independent senator, said he had many grounds for voting against the legislation move.
And Wright's number one concern about the bill relates to the health of Bermudians and particularly the younger generation. When we send the clear message that smoking weed is now an accepted norm in our society, but the legislation can still become law if signed by the governor, Lila Lagali.
The government made it clear it expected Britain not to block the election pledge on cannabis legislation, which has now twice been backed by MPs in the House of Assembly. But Ms. Langley has said that she will not give royal assent if the legislation contravenes United Nations drug conventions to which Britain is a signatory.
The legislation was designed to legalize cannabis and establish a regulatory authority to oversee the cultivation and sale of the drug. It was passed for a second time in the House of Assembly on Friday by a vote of 18-6, with all 6 opposition, 1 Bermuda Alliance MPs voting against it.
It's very similar to when we legalized here, when Trudeau first started talking about. A lot of people said, "What about the treaties? What about the treaties? The treaties won't allow us to do this," and we did it.
We did do it, and I think you should have the right to do whatever you want in your country. I mean, not hurting people, obviously. Regarding cannabis, I think that's each country's decision. I don't think that has anything to do with the world body on anything.
They gotta update their treaties. Obviously, they're a little bit behind. So, all right, let's see what else. It goes on to say that let's see, where's the legislation was designed to legalize cannabis and establish a regulatory authority to oversee the cultivation and the sale of it, as you mentioned. It was passed by a second time in the House Assembly on Friday by a vote of 18-6, which we've already covered, and 3 independent senators united to condemn the bill and insisted it would harm the island rather than provide a benefit.
Well, I wonder, do these politicians, do they ever look at other countries that have passed regulations regarding cannabis, or even other states that have passed it, and see how they're working, like how it's working in those countries and states?
Yeah, obviously not. You know, it's sort of like our local council here not talking to the town beside them.
Yeah,
when it comes to stores.
He said, in a community with so many concerning health issues, I am very concerned about the increased mental illness from those new users following the adoption of this being an acceptable norm. The research that I have read concludes that cannabis use increases the risk of schizophrenia and other psychosis, depression, and anxiety.
Okay, wow. Gee, he's been reading some old information there.
You can read anything you want. You will only get out of it what you want.
Correct. Yeah, you're right there. Mr. Wright highlighted a 2019 government report which found that cannabis use in young resulted in an increase in delinquency and mental health problems. I know here in Canada, Glenn, crimes and stuff for the use went down. Cannabis-related crimes went down.
It makes sense to me. I mean, it's just a way to relax for most people, you know, and for other people, medicine. But I think if it doesn't harm you, what's the problem with it? You know, these people are getting what they want out of every study they read. They only pick out little tiny bits of it and run with it.
Well, he goes on the next line to explain even more.
He said, we need Bermuda's youngest generation to be energized and excited about the future of this country. I just read to the contrary to how I believe we need to be supporting Bermuda's leaders of tomorrow.
There you go. Yeah. He's worried about them becoming lazy.
Yeah, I've heard that for forever, but there's many doctors and lawyers and judges and any kind of professionals that use
And
cannabis.
people who smoke cannabis that aren't that stereotype that people believe is sitting on the couch and baked all day.
Yeah.
There's lots and lots of people who aren't that stereotype.
Well, I find most people that use cannabis
Exactly. Yeah. Mr. Wright also dismissed the government's claims that a regulated cannabis industry would be a major boost to the economy. He says cannabis as a business is based on scale and capital. Thus, the individual is most likely to benefit financially from this legislation and not the unemployed or underemployed who need our support. Well, I know here in Canada it's created hundreds of thousands of jobs.
Yeah, and it's guaranteed it will create jobs. This is the same thing again. You hit your head against the wall, you're not going to change their minds. It doesn't, they're stuck in that opinion. My opinion is that the bill was brought forward is not good for Bermuda, and I will not support it. Michelle Simmons, also an independent, said she was opposed to the legislation. Mrs. Simmons asked, what will Bermuda gain if this bill is signed into law? Nothing that will help to improve our community.
She said that there will be increased cannabis use, even by people who never had considered using it in the past. We don't need another legal intoxicant in our society.
Ben Smith, the opposition Senate leader, also questioned why the government had not made changes to the bill in the past 12 months to respond to the concerns raised by the OBA. He added that the bill would send a confusing message to young people.
Yeah, Mr. Smith says, don't do it. Stay away from cannabis because it's bad for you. But we support it because we can make money out of it, he says. Robin Tucker, the OBA, highlighted the bill was unaltered from the one tabled a year ago and questioned why the government had not made any adjustments.
She highlighted that the serious health impacts that cannabis had on young people and warned there were insufficient guardrails to protect the young. Ms. Tucker said, we have a duty and a responsibility that we make sure we do not provide a framework for those children for letting them think this is okay. And this is the same argument that has been used for years and years and years. I think if you make it inaccessible, that makes young people want it.
Right. Yeah.
If you make it an everyday thing that people just see, then they don't care. It's not something they have to try.
It's illegal, so it's fun because I'm doing something that's illegal. Just so you know, I've finished that story. That story's over. We're going to move to the next one.
Okay.
Yeah. It's it's crazy. It's just, like you said, are they looking at other countries that have done it? The sky didn't fall in Canada.
No, and we heard that it was going to fall. And in the states that have legalized it, the same thing was said again. All the young kids are going to be, I don't know, their minds are going to be gone, and they're all going to be cannabis addicts. I've heard this for years. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. All righty, on to our next story. And this one says that singer-composer Yasin Sulaiman charged with trafficking cannabis. Now, I don't know about you, Glenn, but I haven't heard of this singer.
I don't know him personally, but I guess he's very big over on the other side of the world.
Yes.
Pataling Jaya, singer and composer Yasin Sulaiman faces a possible death sentence after being charged in the magistrate's court here with trafficking cannabis. However, no plea was taken from Yasin, 47, after the charge was read out to him today before magistrate Zahrim Rahim Hamza.
Death sentence.
Yeah.
Death sentence.
It gets worse from our story earlier. Now we're getting right into death sentences.
Death sentence. The case will be transferred to the High Court as the sentence provides for the death penalty. What's he? Yeah. What did he? He's been charged under the Section 39B of the Dangerous Drug and Punishable Act. The same act with either the death penalty or life imprisonment and up to 15 strokes of the Rotan upon conviction.
The singer of the hit song Mimpi Leila was accused of trafficking cannabis weighing about 214 grams.
214 grams, Glenn. 200. That is half a pound of cannabis, and they want to kill him. They want to kill him.
Yeah,
for half a pound of cannabis.
Yeah, and I'm sure other people have died. I hope things change because this is a well-known person over there. You know, the person that's not supposed to be charged with this. That's usually a poor person's crime, right?
Well, let's hope it sparks change, and they just don't let him off because he's a well-known person. Let's hope it sparks change and outrage to death sentence. 4 years hard labor was bad enough for kids. Now we're talking about killing people.
Yeah. The offense was allegedly committed in his condominium in Kota Damansara, where he was arrested on March 21st. Earlier, Yasin pleaded not guilty before Sessions Court Judge Norsal Kamarudin to a separate charge of cultivating 17 plants believed to be cannabis at the same place, time, and date.
He was charged under Section 6B of the Dangerous Drug Act, which provides for life imprisonment and not less than 6 strokes of the Rotan upon conviction. The court did not allow Yasin bail for both charges and set May 18th for re-mention.
The court also ordered Yasin to be given appropriate treatment by a medical officer while in custody. What's the appropriate treatment when he was using cannabis for medical?
Yeah.
So how are they going to treat him?
Obviously, he's a patient. He had a quarter pound of medicine.
Yeah.
And they want to kill him.
Yep. The prosecution was conducted by Deputy Public Prosecutor Muhammad Al-Safi Hassan and Abu Hamnipa, while Yasin was present with lawyer Yasmidi Yusuf. Yasmidi urged the court to grant Yasin bail as he only cultivated cannabis for medical purposes.
My client has bipolar disorder and needs treatment, he told the courtroom. When brought to the court earlier, Yasin said he was in poor health. My health is very bad, and I'm worried I would crack at any time, he told the reporters. He's a fucking patient, and they want to kill him.
Yep. And this is, because he's high profile, I do believe this will change things there.
Let's hope so. This is just not right. Okay, continue.
No. He conveyed a message to MP Saeed Sadiq Rahim, who has been pushing Patrugeya to look into approving hemp and medical marijuana farming due to its economic and health benefits. Greetings to YB Saeed Sadiq Rahim. Please ask the government to allow the use of cannabis for medical purposes, he said.
It just gets... It's ridiculous.
I wonder. I know the guy's he's a famous person there, but I always wonder why he stayed there. If you're rich and you have a medical problem, why didn't you leave to a country that would allow you to do this?
That would punish you in such a way as killing you.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I don't even know what to say.
I know. Well, maybe our next story might help with that, and maybe people get killed there because of some of this next story. Yeah. And the headline on this story says that this new campaign wants to bust all the weed myths. Maybe it's weed myths that people are dying from.
It is weed myths that they're dying from.
Yeah.
Cannabis misinformation has been one of the main problems plaguing the drug since we learned of its existence. Now, a university in Canada is hoping to instruct younger demographics who are at a risk for cannabis misuse. The program hopes to debunk weed myths and help shape the future generation and their perceptions of cannabis.
Maybe that headline might be misleading. Let's find out. This new project from Humber College, done in partnership with Canadian Students for Sensible Drug Policy and Canadian Public Health Association, is called Weed Out Misinformation and was devised by the college's cannabis research and students.
According to the project's website, the campaign kicked off after conducting a survey of 1,600 Canadian consumers who were asked how they acquired their cannabis information. According to the Star, researchers found that there was little options for young people who wanted to learn more about cannabis, and they distrusted public education efforts. I wonder why they distrust it.
Yeah, I wonder why. Weed out misinformation, encourages honest conversations that prioritizes science. Removing the stigma attached to cannabis is geared towards consumers between the ages of 18 to 30.
And from our initial research, we found that young people are feeling stigmatized. They wanted access to reliable sources of information about cannabis, said Daniel Baer, the study's lead researcher and a professor in Humber's faculty of social and community services. For too long, the focus has been on potential harm to dissuade use, but that approach hasn't reduced consumption and hasn't kept consumers safe. The new campaign dispels myths and provides young cannabis consumers with a safe space in which to discuss if it feels normalized.
The last campaign went on for 100 years, said it would all make us murderers and rapists and all this other stuff. So no wonder they don't believe what they're hearing from the government on it. Today's young adults are growing up within a changed cannabis landscape. While the drug is more normalized and accepted than it was in the past, there's still a lot of misinformation surrounding it, with there being few places that provide answers people need in ways that are scientific, unbiased, and trustworthy.
And in the case of young adults, these type of programs could be incredibly helpful in addressing the demographic that's most at risk of experimenting or experiencing the negative side effects of cannabis.
Yeah, like trying to find something that's unbiased might be hard, because obviously listening to us, obviously we lean towards it as being benefit. Whereas if you're in, maybe Louisiana or a country that does death penalties, you'd have a different opinion on things.
I would assume you would, but there's these things you can read and find out. I mean, nothing's perfect because every study has flaws in it, but there is so many studies and so much anecdotal evidence out there that it's almost astronomical to me that someone wouldn't believe that it's good for you.
I know,
and nothing's 100%. I mean, nothing's 100% good.
Yeah. Well, let's find out how its sister plant is doing, because in this headline it says that an inventor builds the world's first plane made entirely from hemp.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Okay. Well, a Canadian company has done just that by creating a plane which is entirely made and powered by cannabis. The cannabis company Hemp Earth has created the hemp-fueled flight, which is made out of composite hemp fibers and is said to be 10 times stronger than steel.
Nice. The plane has a wingspan of 36 feet and it can fit one pilot and 4 passengers thanks to its lightweight build, but it doesn't stop there. In fact, far from it, because all the interior walls, seats, and pillows are also made of hemp too. That'd be the plane there in the video, eh?
Yeah, it's a really cool looking plane. I really like that it's Canadian and they're using hemp for this. Hemp CEO Derek Kasek believes that the hemp composite material, which is being used to build the plane, could replace all fiberglass in aviation and many other industries. However, it is arguably the best thing about the aircraft is the fact that it runs entirely from hemp oil, meaning it's completely sustainable. Hemp is a completely environmentally friendly material, thanks to the fact that it doesn't require much water to grow, and is nutritious to the soil it grows in.
Yeah. Not only that, the hemp shell of the plane is a lot lighter in weight and therefore requires a lot fuel to run.
It should be a lot less, I think.
I'd say a lot less fuel to run, while also allowing for more weight to be carried on board without it affecting the flight.
In addition to being one of the world's healthiest and most versatile plants on Earth, hemp is pound for pound 10 times stronger than steel. Hemp Earth explains on its website.
Yeah. Oh yes. They've used hemp in manufacturing of cars.
Yep.
So yeah, it's good stuff to use. And I'm glad to see they made a plane out of it, and it runs all on hemp. So it's the
strength is what blows me away. Why haven't they been doing this forever? Obviously, they've known this.
Yeah, and they just don't bring it forward. I don't know whether it's cost or because of the laws against hemp and cannabis.
I would think it has to be the laws, because cost shouldn't be too much of a factor because of the speed hemp grows.
Yeah,
it can replace trees, and you don't have to grow trees for 35 years. You can do the same thing in 2 years with hemp.
Yeah, exactly. Or you're not ripping up the land, looking for minerals and stuff like that in order to create steel.
I read another story this morning about hemp, and they were talking about the way it sequesters CO2, and it actually leaves the ground more fertile every time you plant it. So the second time you plant hemp, it's more fertile than it was the first time, and so on and so on.
Yeah, it doesn't steal from the soil like other plants do.
Yeah.
All righty, Glenn. What's up for you for the next week?
A lot of work here.
It'll never end, will it, eh?
No. Well, it will when I put it up for sale.
Well, there you go. That'll do it. That will do it for sure. All right. Up next, just so everybody knows, at 11:30, so in the next half hour, Grassroots Advocate will be broadcasting. That's with Tamara and myself, and that's based on a magazine that people advocating cannabis education used to provide for the stores and for patients within our area. So catch us back here again in about half an hour. We'll be live again. All right, from the Legacy420.com news desk, and for our buds at BMA Hydroponics, Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions, the Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, as well as Legacy420.com. That's our Reefer report for March the 31st, 2021. And as we close out the show, I'd like to say thank you for watching or listening, as well as don't forget that until the next time, don't forget to educate, medicate, and do not incarcerate. And sure in the hell, don't be killing people. Like, what the fuck?
Wow.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
BMA Hydroponics has everything you need to succeed. Visit our hydroponics superstore at 404 Maitland Drive in Belleville, and we'll show you how to grow your own quality cannabis for pennies per gram. We're open Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Thursdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Call 613-967-9888. BMA Hydroponics. It's worth the drive.
The only way to go.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most, but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.